And now, Rorshack, the gripping story of a big city cop who wages an endless struggle to find crime wherever he looks for it. As our scene opens today, Lieutenant Rorshack is in the interrogation room grilling a suspect.
It's not going to do you any good to lie to me. I can tell by that look in your stupid face you've got the information. Now, if you want to get out of here in one piece, let's have it.
Okay, Rorshack, you win. You got a call while you were out to dinner to work on a new case. But I wish you wouldn't rough me up like this every night just to get your phone messages. I'm your commanding officer.
Never mind that now, Captain. Just give me what you've got quick.
Well, it's nothing big, really. Some woman called in and said her dog was lost.
I get the picture. Probably old lady Haroon and that band of roving dog walkers up on East 33rd. I've seen their M.O. before. Steinberg, Lopez, Caruso, get in here in the double.
Yep, right.
Yeah, come, sir. Yeah, right. All right, Captain, let's have all the details, and don't try to hold anything back. I'll find out sooner or later.
Well, there's not much to tell, Rorshack. The woman just lost her dog. She said it was named Muggsy or Mopsy, something like that. The woman thought she saw a strange blue car in the neighborhood a little earlier, but she's not sure.
Okay, Steinberg, I want a rundown on every dog in New York whose name begins with the letter M. Lopez, run a check through motor vehicles on strange blue cars. Who owns them, where they are now, the works. And Caruso, I want you to set up a command post to seal off all the bridges and tunnels leading out of Manhattan Island. Nobody goes in or out, beginning right now, okay? Get moving.
Yeah, all right, sir. Yeah, right, okay.
Now, what I want you to do, Captain, is get men to the airports, bus stations, and rail terminals. Somebody may be trying to ship a dog out of the city, and you know what that means.
Yeah? You want me to call in everybody who's off duty to work overtime again? Well, hand me the phone book.
That's odd. My phone book's gone. I know it was right here on this desk at 6:12 because I double-checked. Steinberg, Lopez, Caruso, move it in here.
Come on, Chief.
Yeah, right. All right, get this, all of you. Steinberg, I want you to dust every phone book in the city for fingerprints. If you find one with mine on it, move in fast. Lopez, seal this building and conduct an office-to-office search. Any office with more than one phone book in it, report to me. Caruso, you take the airports, bus stations, rail terminals. If you see anybody with a heavy bundle, shoot to kill. Now, let's move on it.
Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah, right.
Go on, sir. You got a little seltzer, Captain? My stomach's acting up.
Maybe what you need is a little time off, Rorshack. I mean, well, you know, a lost dog's a minor thing, and a missing phone book is really nothing at all, so...
Nothing at all? Grand theft is nothing at all? Listen, I've been on this force 27 years. I know the pattern. Today it's only a phone book, but then it grows. Appliances vanish. Every car in New York disappears. Fuzzy-cheeked kids are hijacking ships at all the docks on the river. I've seen it happen. Took us a long time to get this town cleaned up, and I'm not going to let you or anybody else stand in my way of keeping it clean. You got that?
Sure. Incidentally, when you stood up there, I noticed that you'd been sitting on your phone book.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
And so, without fear, without glamour, and without taking time to think what he's doing, Rorshack battles to snuff out crime before it exists. Join us again soon for more real-life police drama on the next episode of Rorshack. Views behind the people, behind the news. And with me right now is the learned Mr. Hubert C. Waxford, prepared to shed light on one of the great problems of our time. Mr. Waxford is the chairman of the Far-Sighted Planners for Urban Renewal. I assume, sir, that you call yourselves Far-Sighted Planners because your members all wear thick spectacles like those you have on? Is that
No, that's not correct at all, Mr. Elliott. Actually, I'm very nearsighted, but my urban planning is farsighted.
I understand you've put forth a number of new theories on urban renewal from your office in Washington. Tell us about some of them, will you?
Currently, I'm putting forth new theories from my home in Elkton, Maryland. I did have an office in Washington, but it was torn down on the recommendation of another urban renewal planner.
Well, in any event...
I'll get him for that. It's the last thing I ever do. He turned my office into a parking lot for his office.
Okay, well, now, I've heard urban renewal creates some innocent victims, and I guess you happen to be one of them.
Urban renewal does not need to create innocent victims, Mr. Elliott.
Well, that's good to hear.
I'm afraid our work has gotten that reputation because planners in many cities started out by tearing down the slums. Of course, slum dwellers are the ones who have the most trouble finding a new place to live, that they can afford.
Well, I can appreciate that. How can you renew an urban area without getting rid of the slums, though?
Oh, well, you do that eventually, but first, the modern, expensive apartment buildings should all be destroyed, and then low-cost public housing is put up to replace those, and, of course, that gives slum dwellers a place to move before you tear down the slums.
Well, that sounds like far-sighted urban planning, all right. What becomes of the people who live in those modern, expensive buildings that are the first to be torn down?
Well, my group isn't terribly concerned about what happens to them. They've got plenty of money, so they can move to another city or put their furniture in storage while they take a around-the-world cruise or something. There's a number of options open to them.
Yeah, I can see that now. Of course, there are other forms of urban blight besides substandard housing.
I might also mention that my group is concerned with other forms of urban blight besides substandard housing. Take old warehouses, for example.
I suppose you favor replacing them with new warehouses on the outskirts of cities to help cut down on truck traffic, right?
Well, no, I never considered that idea, but I'm sure that I would have rejected it if I had. You see, it's my theory that we don't need warehouses at all anymore. Most of the food we eat now is processed, so it won't spoil if it's piled up out in the sun in vacant lots.
Well, what happens to it when it rains?
Well, urban planners can't control the weather. I mean, if a city's located in a damp climate, there's not much anybody can do about that.
No, I guess it's foolish to expect you people to do the impossible.
That's right. For instance, I recently calculated that Tucson, Arizona could become a city of 1 million if it had a good harbor and the Pacific Ocean there, but would have to tear down San Diego and replace it with Tucson to do that. So I decided it's not practical.
Well, actually, you mentioned several proposals that don't sound too practical. Have you actually tried out any of these ideas of yours anywhere?
Yes, I utilized all of my plans for the complete urban renovation of Goldfield, Colorado.
That's one of those western ghost towns where nobody lives, isn't it?
At the present time, yes. However, I'm hoping that some of the people who had to move away when we tore all the buildings down may eventually come back. Now, if they do, they'll find that it's much better planned than it used to be.
Well, I'm sure that's true. And you've given us all a better understanding of how you improve communities by destroying them, Mr. Waxford.
Sure.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today on this edition of Views Behind the Views, behind the people, behind the news. And now, the Rotman Corporation, maker of fine buggy whips for more than 9 centuries, presents The Orderlies, a dramatic behind-the-scenes glimpse of life in a big city hospital.
Orderly Wine Coop, report at once to Chief Orderly Schnellwell. Report to Chief Orderly Schnellwell.
Here I am, Chief Orderly Schnellwell. What's up?
Well, I hear your salary's up for one thing, Wine Coop, and I just wanted you to know that I had nothing to do with your receiving more money. I've always rated you consistently poor in your work performance reviews.
Well, I've never doubted that you'd be unswerving in your negative reports about me, Chief Orderly Schnellwell. And I understand that this is just a cost of living raise that's going to every member of the staff, so it still keeps me at the very bottom of the totem pole.
I'm glad you understand that, Wine Coop. I certainly wouldn't want you to think that you deserve an extra 3 cents an hour just for lolling around, displaying your incompetence.
Well, of course, I do run up and down stairs displaying my incompetence on all 16 floors of the hospital, sir. Even so, my basic wage of $1.75 an hour is more than generous, and this 3-cent raise is just like found money.
I wouldn't start making any plans for spending that salary increase if I were you, Wine Coop.
Well, does this mean that you thought up some diabolical scheme for getting it away from me, sir?
It's not a scheme, Wine Coop. It's definitely for your own protection. I've checked the files and noticed that you're not covered by malpractice insurance.
Well, that's true, Your Excellency, but how could I ever commit malpractice? I'm only an associate orderly, 3rd class, formerly making $1.75 an hour, recently raised to $1.78.
I'm aware of your rank and classification, Wine Coop. However, a new directive has just come through that makes a change in hospital policy. As you know, our beloved surgeons have been paying a great deal of money for malpractice insurance, and now we're hoping to get the premium rates reduced by having some of the larger malpractice cases filed against orderlies instead of doctors.
Well, I can see how the doctors would welcome that arrangement, Your Highness, but why would patients ever file malpractice suits against an orderly?
Because you're going to start telling the patients it's your fault when things go wrong, Wine Coop.
says so right here in this new directive.
Yeah, I was kind of afraid that's what it said, Chief Orderly Schnellwell.
Don't be sullen about it, Winecoop. For personnel in your low category, malpractice insurance will cost less than $500 a year. And, of course, your recent wage increase covers almost $65 of that.
Yeah, but I can't come up with the rest, sir. I'll starve.
Nonsense, Winecoop. Malpractice insurance is tax deductible.
Well, that's something, I guess. But I don't pay much tax anyway. The government considers me a chronic underachiever. In fact, I was living on day-old pumpernickel and root beer that comes in bent cans even before you started taking $500 a year away from me.
Winecoop, please don't say that I'm the one taking money away from you. This policy change was voted by the Board of Surgeons, and I understand the vote was unanimous.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that, sir. And to think I've been whimpering about doing my part after the matter was thoughtfully considered by the Board of Surgeons and then passed unanimously. I just don't know what gets into me, Chief Orderly Schnellwell. Here I am challenging the wisdom of the surgeons for my own selfish purposes. I'm so ashamed.
There, Winecoop. Your words of insubordination don't need to leave this room necessarily.
I think I get your message, Chief Orderly Schnellwell, and you can certainly put me down as being among the first to sign up for Orderlies malpractice insurance. I can cover part of the premium by selling the bicycle I ride to work, and I've got some gold in my teeth that might pay the rest of it.
I'm beginning to admire your team spirit, Winecoop. And I have a feeling that the day may soon come when I'll be proud to call you a colleague.
And so underpaid, undertrained, and overbearing, the hospital orderly marches on in the name of medical science. Join us again soon when the Rotman Corporation, maker of fine buggy whips for more than 9 centuries, will present another dramatic episode of The Orderlies.
And right now, we have another interesting session with Mr. Ralph Flinger, the man who's better known as Mr. I Know Where They Are. Ralph has made a lifetime career of keeping track of thousands of former celebrities who are no longer in the public limelight. And I'm sure it's a rewarding experience for you to hear from these old-timers all around the world, Ralph.
Yes, it certainly is, Ray. I received a postcard just this morning from Torchy Yachov, once known as the Wild Bulgarian of six-day bike racing. Torchy wrote he's living with his daughter and son-in-law now over in Paterson, New Jersey, and he grows a lot of hollyhocks.
Well, that's a warm and touching bit of news, Ralph. But now we have a lot of mail from our listeners that's piled up here since your last visit. Most everyone wants to know about their favorite old-time celebrities who have vanished from the spotlight.
Well, I'll be glad to supply any information I have about them, Ray, if I possibly can.
Now, do you need a handkerchief or anything?
No, I don't.
All right. Here's a very interesting letter from a lady in Maine. She says that her grandfather took her to aerial stunt shows many years ago, and she remembers seeing a young daredevil named Warner Bromley, who flew a Zeppelin upside down. She wonders if you know where he is now.
Oh, yes, of course. Warner Bromley performed at air shows all over the country during the early 30s, and he even achieved international prominence when he tried to fly a Zeppelin upside down through the framework of the Eiffel Tower.
Well, he certainly sounds like a colorful figure. What's he doing at the present time?
Warner Bromley is still close to the type of work he always loved. He inflates weather balloons for the government now. He lives alone with his 2 Cocker Spaniels in a trailer park near Oklahoma City.
Well, that's good to hear. Now we have another letter from, it's from a gentleman in North Carolina. He's wondering whatever became of a former Major League Baseball player named Backwoods Grinnell.
Do you remember him? He brings back
just
memories.
Vaguely the name.
Backwoods Grinnell earned his nickname on opening day of the 1934 season when he hit a home run and ran around the bases backwards. No one ever knew for sure whether he just got confused or did it on purpose to win a bet from a teammate.
I see. Well,
either way, the commissioner ruled that he'd made a travesty of baseball and fined him $100,000, which was a good deal of money in those days.
Certainly was. But what became of Grinnell?
Well, of course, he dropped out of baseball right away rather than pay the fine, and he recently earned his 40-year service pin from a company in Ohio that makes steel wire for paper clips. Seems quite happy in that career. I hear he's just been promoted to chief custodian of the night shift.
Well, it's nice to know that some of these former celebrities have prospered in other occupations in later life. Now, Ralph, we have time for just about one more letter addressed to Mr. I Know Where They Are. It's from a lady in Montana, and she wants to know whatever happened to Lola Dressendorfer, the young heiress who mysteriously vanished around the time of World War II.
Actually, it was right after the war, in 1946, that Lola disappeared. She was in her early 20s then, and of course, it was assumed she'd been kidnapped from the Dressendorfer estate in Connecticut. But no ransom note was ever received. The police never found a trace of the woman.
Well, that's tragic, Ralph. Of course, it means that no one knows what became of Lola Dressendorfer.
No, it just means the police never found a trace of her, Ray. I happened to run across Lola several years ago when I was getting some information together on Doodles Rushkin, another young heiress of that same period. Doodles told me that I might find Lola Dressendorfer working as a manicurist right here in New York. And sure enough, she was.
Well, then a disappearance almost 30 years ago must have been voluntary.
Yes, it was. Lola wanted to marry the captain of a ferry boat somewhere out in the Midwest, but her wealthy parents disapproved. She just decided to vanish.
Well, that's an amazing story.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, her fiancé, the ferry boat captain, couldn't find her either. That's why she had to go to work as a manicurist. But she seems reconciled to her life the way it is now.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. And I want to thank you, Ralph Flinger, Mr. I Know Where They Are, for helping our listeners locate some of their favorite celebrities of yesteryear.
It's my pleasure, Ray. Goodbye to you and all of your radio friends.
And once again, it's time for Grand Motel, a speck of a place, a heck of a place on Route 14 near Hadleyville, where the mountains reach the sky and living is easy as pie. In today's episode, our action begins with uncompromising owner Leonard Humphrey directing a newly arrived guest to his suite in Grand Motel.
Well, I'm putting you in Unit 5, mister. Just park your machine over under that sycamore and you won't have far to carry your baggage.
Well, I don't usually have to carry my own stuff in other places where I stay, Mr. What's your name anyway?
Humphrey, Leonard Humphrey.
Well, I guess that's okay. But as I was telling you, Humphrey, Leonard Humphrey, I don't usually have to...
My name is just Leonard Humphrey. Only one Humphrey in it.
Well, then I don't know why you told me there were two. Anyway, if you'll stop interrupting for a minute, I wanted to say that other motel owners unpacked my car for me, carry the suitcases into the room.
Well, I guess I could do that. You sure can't afford to lose your business.
Fine, come on, I'll open the car trunk for you. I've got quite a few sample cases in there I want you to carry into the room.
Well, if you'd park your machine over under that sycamore, it wouldn't be so far to carry things.
No, that's okay, I don't mind.
Well, sure a lot of luggage there. Really got the back end of your car weighted down. What kind of samples you carry with you?
I sell bricks. Naturally, I have to carry several styles of your natural red building brick, your round-cornered paving brick, your light-colored adobe. Adobe's getting very popular.
Yeah, I don't know why you need them all carried in. But we can't afford to lose your business, so I'll just...
Wait a minute, Daddy. Don't you lift those heavy things till I get there.
That's all right, Naomi. I'm fine.
Who's the good-looking chick?
She's my daughter.
Oh, I guess that's okay. Have you got any ice around here?
Well, there's,
Daddy, I'm so glad you've talked this gentleman into staying. We can use the money to have our billboard out in the highway lighted.
Now, Naomi, that can wait. You need a nice new dress.
Hey, Humphrey, you never answered my question.
Well, there's an ice chest out behind you.
Not that question. I asked who's the good-looking chick is here.
She's my daughter.
Okay. So, which one of you wants to get me some ice?
Well, it's right behind unit number 9. We usually let our guests help themselves.
Daddy, my stars, don't offend the man. We need his business.
Yeah, all right, Naomi. I'm sorry.
Hey, Humphrey, you still didn't answer my question.
She's my daughter.
No, you already answered that one. I asked, which one of you wants to get me some ice?
Well, I will.
No, I will, Daddy. You stay here.
No, that's all right, Naomi. I will.
Look, if you two squabble like this about everything, you could keep me awake all night. The man in my line of work needs his rest. I'd better look for a room someplace else. So long.
Well, I'm sorry, Naomi. I guess I failed you again.
Can Leonard Humphrey remain uncompromising and hope to succeed in the motel business? Will lighting his billboard on the highway really solve the problem? Perhaps we'll learn more next time when another weary traveler pulls up to Grand Motel.
Well, hi there, boys and girls. It's time for the Charlie Chipmunk Club to come to order. And here to read another exciting Charlie Chipmunk story is your old friend, Uncle Edgar.
Thank you, Bob, and hello, boys and girls. And for today's story, I want you all to turn to page 22 of this month's issue of the Charlie Chipmunk Club magazine. And there at the top, you'll see...
I certainly hope you boys and girls haven't forgotten to send in your subscription for the Charlie Chipmunk Club magazine. 12 big issues delivered to your home for only $8.95. Uncle Edgar?
Thank you. Now, there in the first panel, kids, we see that it's lunchtime at the tiny school for little forest creatures, and Charlie Chipmunk is telling all his friends about the trip he's going to make to visit his grandmother Chipmunk in the city.
Now, be sure to notice, boys and girls, that all the little creatures have brought their lunches to school in genuine Charlie Chipmunk lunch boxes. They're made of handsome, thin-gauge steel. Each comes with its own Charlie Chipmunk thermos bottle. Only $6.98 at better drug and variety stores. And now back to Uncle Edgar.
Now, in the next panel, we see that Charlie Chipmunk is at home packing his suitcase for that trip to Grandmother Chipmunk's.
Of course, that's an official Charlie Chipmunk suitcase, gang. Strong vinyl two-suiter in authentic chipmunk brown with black stripes. The price, remarkably low, $69.50. Uncle Edgar?
Bob, I kind of wish you'd stop horning in this way. We're never going to get this story finished unless you clam up.
Well, it's all those wonderful commercial sponsors who keep us on the air, Uncle Edgar. I think you and the boys and girls should bear that in mind.
Okay. Well, we're up to the third panel, kids. And we can see that it's raining hard as Charlie Chipmunk sets out on his journey. See those big puddles? And Charlie with his raincoat and umbrella.
Authentic Charlie Chipmunk foul-weather gear, gang. A heavy-duty slicker, umbrella, and galoshes, all with the official Charlie Chipmunk emblem, and all for only $26.50. Tell Mommy to get yours tomorrow.
Look, I'm not going to hold still for this. We're only supposed to have a commercial at the beginning and the end. Now, I don't think federal regulations even allow as much advertising as you're throwing in here. I mean, every 2 minutes, every 2 seconds.
Call these public service announcements rather than commercials, Uncle Edgar. And if you'd stop calling attention to them, everything would be fine.
But I'm only up to the fourth panel of the story here. We've been on the air for minutes.
You're stopping to complain so much. I'm surprised you've gotten this far, actually. Now, just go ahead.
Okay, I'll try. Now, boys and girls, we can see Charlie Chipmunk holding his little suitcase as he waits on the corner for the bus to come and take him to Grandmother Chipmunk's.
And, of course, we all know what kind of bus he's waiting for, don't we, gang?
Oh, you bet we do.
It's a genuine Charlie Chipmunk double-decker. Plenty of room inside for you and 71 of your little friends. Diesel-powered, air-conditioned, and yet it costs a surprisingly low $52,500. Best of all, your local Charlie Chipmunk dealer will arrange easy payment terms to fit your daddy's income.
Hurrying right along here, boys and girls, we now see Charlie Chipmunk arriving in the big city. And there's Grandmother Chipmunk.
Oh, sorry, Uncle Edgar. It looks as if our time is about up for today.
I knew this would happen. I've never finished a story on this show yet, and I want you to know that somebody in authority is going to hear about it.
Sure to join us for lots more fun at the next meeting of the Charlie Chipmunk Club, boys and girls.
Well, first, I plan to tell the station manager all about you, and if he won't do anything, I'll go straight to the Federal Communications Commission.
Say goodbye to the boys and girls, will you?
Goodbye.
And now, Jungle Haven, the last roadside zoo still operating on Interstate 5 with real raccoons, invites you to join us for more thrilling action in the life of Blimmix.
My name's Joe Blimmix. I'm a private investigator. The other night, I got tied up late at the office, trying to decide whether I looked cuter wearing sunglasses or just keeping them perched on top of my head. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, so I did the only thing I could. I said, "Who is it?"
Telegram for Joe Blimmix. All about your beautiful blonde secretary and how she's had an accident. Needs you to come right away. Things like that.
Okay, wait just a second. Look, pal, I'm not sure what you're up to, but I don't even have a secretary.
That's okay. I don't really have a telegram.
Well, I guess that clears up the mystery then.
Well, not entirely. You still don't know who I am.
Well, that's a good point. Who are you, anyway?
Name is Bullets Culhane. Here's my business card. I'll give you something to read while I step inside and prepare to beat the daylights out of you.
Say, Bullets W. Culhane, killings on contract, merciless pummelings, general goon squad operations. I'm not sure I like the looks of this card.
Well, frankly, I'm not too crazy about it myself. I told the printer to use Bodoni type instead of Old English because I thought it would look more masculine, but he loused up the job. I guess you can't expect much from a print shop that's really a front for a stolen car ring.
Oh, I don't know. My barber's really the top man in the policy racket, but he really does a beautiful job of getting this one lock of hair to hang down on my forehead.
Yeah, it's cute as the dickens, all right. I'm really sorry I'm going to have to spoil your face, but business is business.
I can't argue with that. But do you mind if I ask you who you're working for?
I'm sorry. They asked me not to tell. I guess they thought it would make them look bad if word leaked out that I'm only getting paid $500 for this assignment. But then I didn't take the job for the money. I just happen to enjoy beating up private eyes like you.
Well, I think enjoying your work is always the most important thing. Money can't buy happiness.
That's what I always say, too. You know, we got a lot in common. Only difference is I'm still going to be healthy 5 minutes from now, and you're not. So would you just stand there quietly with your hands at your sides so I can get a good whack at you?
How's this? Leaning against the desk with one foot just slightly in front of the other?
Yeah, that's real nice. Just hold it and take that. Okay, there we are. I don't usually turn a guy into that much of a mess for only $500, but as I say, I really enjoyed this job. Good night.
After he left, I just lay there with my head stuffed into the bottom shelf of the bookcase, trying to figure things out. At first, I thought he might have some connection with the Whitford case, since that's the only one I'm working on. But old man Whitford never mentioned knowing a mobster named Bullets Culhane. And besides, the Whitfords are millionaires. And Culhane had made a point of telling me he had his business cards printed at a cheap place that used the wrong kind of type. It just didn't add up. So I decided not to bother making a note of the incident in my files, the files of Joe Blimmix, private investigator.